Hey everybody, welcome to another video. I just did one with my dad, now we're going to do one with my mom. And it'll be a little bit of different video. She's totally fit, totally ready to go, but we're not going to do a fitness challenge today. So we're going to do a little bit of band work. And my mom recently had a knee injury and she's been doing rehab and she do physical therapy. So we're kind of going to talk about the process of that. And then go into a little band workout and just do some band work, kind of have a little fun doing some of that. So we're going to start off talking a little bit just about kind of how the injury happened and kind of what her process was like to go through physical therapy and kind of what she learned along the way about, staying fit, because she's in really good shape. Both my parents are. So we're going to do a little bit of that. So how did the knee injury happen?
The knee injury happened in a really silly way. Some kind of a gardening tool I was using and just a rocking back and forth motion with a lot of pressure, and the doctor didn't know initially what I did. He thought maybe a torn meniscus.
What happens when you work with hose?
ended up being a torn PCL.
So what's the PCL?
The PCL is the posterior cruciate ligament. Am I saying it right? It's not a super common injury, and they really don't do surgery on it to repair it. So the doctor told me, hey, your choice is to rehab it, and the harder you work, the better the results will be. So that happened almost 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago, and it took a long time. It took longer than I expected. It was a very negative experience. It took me down. I was really down about the injury because I'm used to being healthy. But about 7 months later, I was on the ski slopes, so no problem.
Yeah, and that's having a goal to work towards. I mean, if you get down, you have if you want to go skiing again, she's been skiing a long time, and having that goal, so even if you do get down, you're like, this is the goal I want to reach towards. And that's what happens if you want to lose weight. I always say, what's your goal? Is there a wedding you want to go to? Is there for your kids, kids, anything like that? So it's always good to have that goal, especially if you get down. My mom loves to walk, she loves to work out, she loves to do things, but kind of just not bedridden, but kind of just like you couldn't really do much, and that's tough for her because I know how active she is. So so we're gonna kind of go through. Thank you for sharing that, and we're gonna go through and kind of do a little bit of band work. So
all right,
she's gonna show me some of the stuff she learned in physical therapy for the posterior chain, and this will be a little bit more of the probably like hamstrings, the quads, and everything like that. So we're gonna do a little bit of that. Then I'll show her a few other things with the bands, and at the end we'll just talk a little bit about the benefits. So what's the first thing that we're going to do?
Do you want to strictly do bands, or do you want me to go through what Rehab had me do? Yeah,
let's do what Rehab had her do, and then we can kind of do some stuff that you threw in as well. So let's start with the Rehab part.
Okay. So they started me, I think, basically just rebuilding the whole leg structure, working on flexibility. And so I do forward lunges with an overhead press. And initially when I started, they had me actually doing the half of a hammer curl. They wanted the weight over my knee to help me strengthen that leg. That was the whole goal. But now that I'm feeling better, I kind of incorporated some of my own workout to work full body.
All right.
So lunges with overhead press.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, so she's going to do the overhead press. Notice how she is pressing up with that leg and getting that full stretch. You never want the knee to come down. And especially with the overhead press, this is really easy, like a full body, really easy workout that you guys can do. This doesn't take a lot of effort, really lightweight to start with, and just rotating every other leg. You can do a reverse lunge as well, overhead press, but notice how her knee is not touching the ground or anything like that. So she's keeping her leg up, she's got really good depth, and keeping it nice and steady pace. That's what you guys want to do, So that's looking good. Next thing is the side lunge. Same thing, instead of doing a press, kind of doing a little more of a hammer curl. And most people think just when you work the leg, when there's a leg rehab, you just focus on the leg, but you gotta get used to putting up that weight even above your body. That creates that stability in the leg, carrying a little bit more than just your body weight. So that's the other thing that a really good thing to focus on too. So again, having that leg, keeping that leg straight, a little bit of bend, and again, the mobility, the lower you can go, the better it is for you. But like I said, 7 months in, she's doing really great. So working good. All right, so she's about to do the squats now, and she's going to do either some goblet squats. I'm going to look at her form. And remember, the higher mobility you have, the lower you can go on your squats. So take a look at, how low she goes, because even though this is a, pretty serious injury, her depth and everything will look really good. I think it's been at least about a year or two since she's had it, and, a year or two is a long time, but still to get that mobility back does take just time in general. So we're going to take a look at her squats, and she's going to say a few things beforehand, and we're going to judge her. It's the only time we judge my mom, so.
Okay. So a couple things I just wanted to mention. One is that when I do the forward lunges, especially the forward lunges more so, I need a focal point. Otherwise, I tend to sometimes lose balance a little bit. So that's not unusual. So I find a point off in the distance that I stare at. For those of you who are either recovering or maybe new to working out in general, give yourself grace. There's going to be days when it doesn't go so well, and that's okay. At least you got through some workout. And you can always start, I think Zach would probably mention this in previous videos, you can always start with lower weights or even no weight and get the form down and then increase slowly. So I only recently increased the weight that I'm going to use now for the squats. And I do goblet squats, and I do a squat matrix that they gave me in rehab, and I'm still doing those same exercises they gave me. I just keep increasing weight or reps. Mm-hmm. All right, should I jump in?
Jump in.
These are my least favorite kind of squats.
Yeah. See, even my mom doesn't like leg day, so let's.
So standard squat is what I start with.
Yep. So again, Yep. So gonna be noticing her technique, by back straight, the butt's going to be sticking out, legs are going to be about parallel to the ground. So again, you never want to go, people say, go below parallel. At that point, you're risking it. Depth is important, but again, if you can't stand back up, if you go super low, and she has the weight close to her chest, which is good, because if you have your weight too far out, that's going to cause your back to curl, and you're going to use more of your lower back. So great form, looking good. Good job, Mom.
I assumed form was good the other day because I almost fell over backwards because my weight was in my heels.
Yep, and the weight's supposed to be in your heels, so that's a good thing to mention. So.
All right, so then the next part of my matrix is they had me turn my toes inward. I really don't get what this is about because I can't get depth on this. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking maybe it's working the outside of my knees, I don't know.
Well, that's something else I want to show you guys, and it's good Mom brought it up. So keep doing that, and if you notice, I'm going to zoom in on her knees and her feet. That's almost having the knees over toes, and that's really going to strengthen the knees. So if you've ever been on YouTube, or if you're avid about fitness, there's a great guy, Knees Over Toes. I'm not doing this for a free shout out. This is actually a really good fitness professional, and if you just type in Knees Over Toes on YouTube, you'll see a lot of these types of workouts. So that's really something good. And yeah, you can't get depth, but even the knees over toes can be really beneficial to strengthen that knee. So that is perfect. Looking good.
All right, and then the last part is toes out.
Yep.
I hate these because you can get depth, but it hurts. Okay.
Here we go. Yep. See? And matrix is, working everything. So if you just do, most people are going to use, kind of how the first set of squats were, where you had just the toes pointed straight and you're squatting for depth. But, if you're warming up or if you're just doing a little bit of rehab, incorporate a lot of these into different parts of your life, and those are really going to help. And again, the knees still being straight, and she's doing good. So yeah, so far so good. Yep.
Okay. Bands.
So she's going to be going to do about 6 to 10 of these, and it's really just having the hip abductors and adductors, strengthening the inside of your hips, anything for that strength, and it's good to go in all directions too. So I know it takes time, it's tedious, but especially for rehab, stretching, you can do this too. I don't usually do too many hip abductors because I'm a dude, but anyone can do this and probably should do this as well. Because again, it's more about the stretch than anything, and we shouldn't be afraid to work out our legs or anything like that either. So yep. So again, the direction that you're facing, you do the abductors right now because she's taking her leg and going away from it. The adductors, putting her leg together again, and that's even going to be working the glutes, the posterior chain. So going from the hamstring up to the glutes, and I'm going to call it glutes because it's my mom, and that'd be awkward. But any sort of glute kickbacks as well are going to be really beneficial. So doing some on each leg, and so.
Should we go other leg?
Do other leg really quick.
Okay. I was going to mention the bands. I like the bands because I can sometimes increase the workout just by holding it for a few counts.
Time under tension.
Yeah. And you can push yourself, I feel like, with the bands, to go further, or hold it, or not release it to a total relaxation point.
Yep. Yeah, and that creates, so most people think bands are like, oh, they don't do much, but they can increase your strength a lot. And there's a way to do that. More reps, time under tension, not getting back to the resting point. So all those are great. And, now half my knowledge comes from my parents because they're avid readers and, just active people. So.
And you can buy the band sets, like this set that I'm working with comes in multiple resistance levels.
Mm-hmm.
So you can work your way up through the tougher resistance. The one thing they stressed to me in rehab was keeping the other leg straight.
Yep.
Not bending it. And I believe, if you're doing these right, you feel both legs are tired at the end. Even though the one is this one's doing the pulling right now, but the one that's holding me stationary is working hard too.
Yep.
So let's round on.
Yep. Do the glutes. Yep.
Yes.
This is the same thing where you have all that stability. If you ever do, having the static bicep curls where you hold a dumbbell in one hand while you curl the other arm, that creates that time under tension. So even though you're standing, you're engaging those core muscles just to keep you steady. You're engaging those leg muscles to keep you stationary as well. So that's also a really good point. So. All right. So now it's my turn to be in front of the camera. Mom's doing the recording. So everything she said was really, really good, taking you through the rehabilitation. And really, it depends on the injury, if it's the ACL, the PCL. You might do a variation of exercises, but any of those can work really well. So a few things that I want to show her, and just a few, maybe even a little upper body band work that I can show you guys as well. Just in case you are rehabilitating. I mentioned in a previous video, my left shoulder has been kind of bugging me. So I'm going to do maybe a little bit of just even some shoulder exercises. I'll show you guys with the bands too. So the first one though I'm going to do is just take one of these, like a pretty stretchy band, and I'm gonna wrap it around my foot. And I'll blur out my calves later, but we're gonna do something called a leg press, and this is a really popular quad exercise. I'm sitting in a chair, but even if you want to do it lying on the floor, if you want that momentum, because most leg presses do come at a pretty deep angle, but I'm doing it this way where you can kind of just stretch your leg out nice and slow. You want to keep your arms straight, and your foot does most of the movement. You do the other leg, even just like that. You're not going to feel quite as the burn as you would with the leg press, but it's still going to be pretty similar. Like I said, the time under tension's really going to be beneficial too, even just holding it. So you can do stuff like that, where it's mostly the quads, but even giving you that deep stretch in the legs as well. So that would be another thing that you can do. So even little things like that can be really beneficial. And again, stability, mobility, you need to sit in a chair for some of these. Depending on your skill level as well, or depending on your stability level, mobility, that's another beneficial thing that you guys can do too. So really she took you through a lot of the leg exercises, so I'm going to jump into a little bit of the body stuff. So I'm going to show y'all some of this, and this is the one I really like to use. Most gyms have a handle like this. They have some handles like this. You guys can do, again, different colors have different levels of difficulty. You can so you can put your feet on the bar, on the band, and then really for lateral raises, anything like that is going to be really beneficial. It's going to be really beneficial for everyone to do this, especially if you're rehabilitating, and you can do a lot with just these lateral raises. Again, having that hold for a second. And usually when I do lateral raises, I don't really go 90 degrees. I'll go maybe up to 80 degrees. Because again, at time under tension, if you go 90 or you go higher, sometimes that releases the tension. So you're always having your shoulders go out. And sometimes when we do lateral raises, we have our elbows kind of bent at an angle. But for this, keep them straight. Save the bent elbows for when you do, your actual weighted dumbbell lateral raises or cable lateral raises. Something like this though, you'll get plenty burn, plenty stretch just by doing these. And once you're doing lateral raises, even front raises, you'll work a lot of your bicep. When you do different things, you'll work the front of your shoulder when you do chest press, when you do shoulder press. This is even just a great way to warm up. Having that deep stretch in, hold it for a second, blow it back down. If you go like this, you're gonna look stupid, and it's not really gonna do much for you. It's like you're trying to catch something. You're not gonna. Every gym girl's gonna look at you today. Let's say so. You don't want to be.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Don't be like mom. Stuff like that. So, and then the other thing you want to do is, this is just something really simple that I used to do. Even a bicep, and then the strict curls you saw in the video workout with my dad. Then we did the strict curls. Even doing a little band warm up. Fast on the curl, you release slowly on the eccentric movement. So kind of explosion, then you release slowly. That creates that time under tension. The other thing we did, which really good with the forearms, was what we call the Zapman curls. That is more of a forearm curl. I do these a lot with dumbbells, but even with the bands, you can do a lot of these. Build up your forearms a lot. So even something like that can be really beneficial. So I'm gonna take Mom through this really quick. She's gonna do some lateral raises and some front raises, and maybe do a couple of bicep curls like that. And then we'll kind of talk about just the benefits of the bands too. So here we go.
My turn to try this.
Yep.
Lateral.
Yep. Notice how my mom is. Yep.
This is challenging.
It's challenging. Yep. Nice and slow. So, and even when she says challenging, my mom's got pretty good arms, but that's what people think the bands are overrated, because like, oh, it's not working much and I want to lift that heavy weight. But, it's,
I'm shaking.
when you go slow, it definitely allows you for time under tension. That's what the time under tension does. So notice how she's going a little bit below 90, arms are straight, and you definitely feel in your shoulders, the side shoulders. So let's do a little front. Yep. Just like that.
Not over 90.
Yep, same thing, not over 90. My mom was a math teacher, so hopefully she knows what 90 degrees is.
I think I remember.
So.
Gosh, I'm starting to think math is easier than this.
Yeah, a lot of people think this is easier than math, probably.
Good.
Yeah, so next time mom bench presses those 4 plates, she'll get all warmed up and
Okay, I'm gonna stop these.
have those. All right,
Bicep curls.
bicep curls.
Okay, here you go.
Curls for all the girls out there. Yep,
So keep my elbows next to my body.
Yep. just like that. Yep. Slow on the way down. Yep. That's okay. Notice how, even with bands, there's no cheating there. There's no swinging of the back, keeping that back straight, core engaged, and bands are really good for just, keeping that core engaged. There's no rocking back and forth. And as she transitions to the Zapman curls, so she's gonna, yep, just like that, and keeping her forearms.
Do I try to come all the way up like this?
Yep. So notice, I'm gonna show you as she does this, notice how her forearms are gonna start flexing and she's only rotating with that elbow. So again, the back straight, she's gotten her core engaged, and yeah, that'll create some tension on the forearms as well. So just like any workout, you gotta work every muscle, like the forearms even, any of those small muscles, it's good to work all those small muscles as well. So forearms, yes. Alright, so last little thing we're going to do, and off camera I have my mom do this, and she's pretty good, but I just want to show you guys really quick the importance of what we call dead hangs. And no matter how old you are, if you're really young, just starting to work out, even if you're in middle school, to even like retirement or whatever kind of your goals are, I cannot preach this enough. It's really important if you at least do a few pull-ups sometime in your lifetime with good form. Obviously the older you get, the harder it might be to do pull-ups. So dead hangs are a really good place to start. And what dead hangs are is, you can kind of do this almost at every handle. You can do this close grip. You can do this like chin up status. You can even do this as the wider grip. I like to do wider grip just because it's more lat engagement and forearms. And you can start out, I usually have my arms hanging. And if you notice, right now I'm kind of relaxed. But as soon as I pull upward, my chest is coming out, that engages the lats a lot more. So that's going to engage the lats. And if I relax and press up, that involves the lat engagement. And for anyone who is trying to do pull-ups, or just even to be healthy, 30 seconds, they say, is usually a really good indication of health and hang, just the forearm and the lats. So again, depending on your age group, it's going to take you a while to work up to it, but I think even if you can't do a pull-up, even shooting just for that 30 seconds of a dead hang can be really beneficial. And the lat engagement, the forearms, is a really good thing to do. Sometimes I'll even go back and forth. I'll do like 10 pull-ups. I'll do like a 10-second dead hang. Pull-ups and pull-ups, 10-second dead hang. Usually I'll do like 3 to 5 sets of those. That just really stresses it out. And sometimes this will be good even before or after your back workout. If you want to stretch before, stretch after, kind of get everything loosened up, do a deep stretch. It's even just good for stretching. It's less about strength, more about stretching, but something like that can be really beneficial. So it's really awesome. My mom hung on there probably for about 5 seconds or so, which is really good. She's never really done those before. So even like we talked about at the beginning, setting a goal for yourself, by Christmas, I want to do 30-second dead hangs, or by my birthday, I want to be able to dead hang for 30 seconds. I'm turning 30. Let's do 30 seconds for 30. You know, I'm gonna be turning 28, but I can do 30 seconds by now. So it's really awesome. Something interesting for you guys to do. And we're gonna kind of wrap up the video in a minute. But thanks guys for watching, and we have one more little talk about bands. So stay tuned. Alright, we're going to talk really quickly about the benefits of bands. My mom's going to go first, kind of what she's noticed. Then I'll throw in maybe a few more specifics. But from your rehab, from the past 2 years, what have you kind of noticed about how bands have helped you?
I think the bands work just as well, sometimes better than weights. I actually started working with free weights at home. Gosh, back it had to be at least more than 20 years ago. And so I didn't start with bands, but I like the different kinds of bands. And if you're focused on your form, if you're focused on working hard and doing the exercise correctly, you can get just as good a workout. What I like about the bands is the versatility. So, I mean, there's different kinds. I like this one. I like the exercise Zach showed me today. I have a whole set of these. I bought these little round loop bands in a 5-pack of different strengths. And so it would be similar to increasing weight. So I increase resistance. I have a really large loop band that I use for a variety of things that we're not going to get into today. And then
What's that mean, Mom?
And Zach did the handled.
Yeah.
The handled.
It's not that kind of video.
The other thing I like about the loops is that you can take them with you. So if you're traveling and you want to work out in your hotel room or anything, they're small,
things.
packable.
Yeah.
This kid should have been better raised, but I was busy at the time working out. So anyways, and they don't take up a lot of room in your house, so very versatile.
Perfect. Yeah, the other types of benefits are, like you said too, it's like versatile, you can use a lot, and even for stability, mobility, this really works well. Even with, the weights, you can even attach, even something like this, attach it like to your legs. If you do those forward, backward lunges, you can wrap them around your legs. And when you do especially the side lunges, these offer a little more tension. So even if you can't get low enough, these offer really good tension as well. So those are really fun to use too. And even stability, like we saw with the biceps, the lateral raises, keeping that core engaged. Because when you have weights, if you start swinging, your core is a little less engaged. So if it's all it is resistance, your core is going to be a lot more engaged with that, rather than trying to focus more on keeping the weights. You focus more on the dumbbells or the barbells. This just means you're focused more on the core and working that out too. So less prone to injury as well. Like you saw my mom doing the lunges, you saw her doing lateral raises, the abductors, the glutes. It's really as far as you can stretch. There's a lot less low impact. So that's the other important thing, especially if you're rehabbing, there's less impact on your joints. Even if you do dumbbells, sometimes the biceps can take a place. You focus more on your elbow or your forearms. This is just pure bicep, kind of like yesterday when I did the strict curls. It helps maintain that specific muscle group. So even the bands like that can be really awesome. So yeah, and she kicked ass today, so she did great.
Oh, thanks.
And you did good.
Can I go get my chocolate now?
How you feel? You eat all the chocolate you want. So
No.
You did good. So
Feel good. Thank you, buddy.
you're welcome. And thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Give Mom a shout out. And yeah, we'll see you later. Bye.